On the morning of October 21st, 1990, a 30-year-old man named Lee Hunshou and three of his friends hiked up Bilu Mountain, which is located in northern Taiwan. It was considered one of the most challenging hikes in all of Taiwan. It was also a major tourist destination that was usually really busy. On this particular day, the friends had not seen anybody else on this trail. Eventually, they reached the section of the mountain that was sort of famous amongst tourists, because it was a really steep section where the only way to get up was actually to climb a rope. They all wanted to make sure there was a picture of them navigating this particular terrain. And so one by one, each of the men got on the rope and sort of paused at some point and turned around and made sure to get a cool picture of themselves making this really difficult section of the climb. And then once they had all taken their picture, they actually went the rest of the way up the rope and continued all the way up to the summit. And once they were on the summit, the friends actually didn't spend a whole lot of time there. They were up there long enough to get a couple of pictures and, again, to take stock of the fact that basically no one is here. In fact, literally, nobody is here but them. And then they began making their descent. Lee was really dragging behind. And so after a couple of hours of the group sort of broken up, the friends in the front, they were really huffing it down the mountain. Maybe we ought to just sit here and wait for a minute and let him catch up. But he doesn't. And so eventually one of the friends says, you know what, you guys stay here. I'm gonna go back up the mountain a little ways and just see if I can catch Lee. He begins going back up the trail. As he's going up, he has not found Lee. And after a while, he's been hiking for like an hour and still no Lee. And he thinks, you know what, I can't do this. It's getting dark out. Lee must have gotten turned around and he must have taken one of those other pathways. And now he's probably ahead of me. He's probably down at the car. And when they got there, they're expecting to see Lee, but he wasn't there. There would be this huge search that was launched for Lee, but they couldn't find him. And eventually 4 months went by, and it was at that point that other hikers who were making their way up the mountain, they went off the trail and they came across Lee's body. When police began to investigate what actually killed Lee and why, they did an autopsy and they couldn't figure out what killed him. Where he was found, he was just kind of sitting there. It almost seemed like he just sat down and then just died in place. One of the friends who was with Lee on that doomed hike, he went and got his pictures developed. Here is the photo of Lee posing with that rope. There's a person clearly up there looking down at Lee and his friends. But remember, they didn't see anybody else on the mountain the entire time they were there. But she wasn't in any of the other photos. She was just in Lee's. There was this myth about this mountain, that there were these spirits on this mountain that would sometimes target hikers and lead them astray away from their friends off the trail. It seemed an awful lot like Lee was led astray and just sort of sat down and died on the mountain.